Hi, this is Mike Sokoll from Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk with an update for this week. I think the drivers that moved the market last week will still be in play this week, namely earnings, oil, and to a lesser extent Greece and central banks. So last week we saw oil prices stabilize from below 45 to near 51. That was particularly noticeable on Tuesday when the Dow rose 300 points and put a bid into the market as people thought that the market is stabilizing, which was interesting. On top of that, there was a lot of sector rotation as the folks that had been nervous about declining oil prices rotated into more of the risk-on sectors. And you did see, even though the Dow was up 300 points on Tuesday, that biotechs and healthcare generally sold off, as did utilities. So utilities were negative on the week, and healthcare was barely positive. So that might be in play again this week. Of course, earnings are a big driver. We're about two-thirds of the way through S&P 500 reporting earnings season, and we've had about 78 companies beat on earnings expectations. That's a little bit north of the 74% we normally see, and revenues have been more or less in line and not as bad as feared. So even though expectations were lowered, the earnings have come in a little bit better, and that's been helpful to the market. And lastly, central banks are still very much in focus. We've had both the debt negotiations in Greece, which has both on the positive and negative side impacted the markets last week, and will probably continue to do so, including this morning where we saw some of that. And on top of that, we have the Fed, which is very much in play. Last week's jobs number was very strong. The revisions were very strong, and initially the market moved higher. But people, of course, realized that the Fed might move rates higher sooner than they might have otherwise, so that put a little bit of a cap on Friday's gains. So looking at for this week, we have any number of companies reporting. There's probably hundreds of reports, among them Coke and AMAT, NetApp among the reporters this week, so we'll be watching for the remainder of earnings season, and we'll be watching the Greek debt negotiations. So from the Market Intelligence Desk, I'm Mike Sokoll with your update.